Good evening, everybody. For a change, this is a presentation without any mathematics, so maybe you can find it a little bit interesting. Those of us who are not very interested in math. So the title is Gandhian Approach to Sustainable Manufacturing. So nowadays we look at sustainable manufacturing in a very wrong way. Sustainable manufacturing currently is not at all sustainable. So we will look at what Gandhi used to believe, and he fondly called it the road to Sarvodaya. Sarvodaya is made from joining towards Sarv and Uday. Sarv means all and Uday means awakening. So these are the 5 kinds of manufacturing that are possible. So one is parasitic, where we just go on consuming the resources and go on making products. This is what is happening mostly in the world currently. The other one is predatory, where there is only consumption without permanent destruction. So if we cut the trees get restored, but we don't restore them ourselves, they get naturally restored. So both of these are self-centered without sense of duty. Sorry. So both of these are self-centered without any sense of duty, because the manufacturer just focuses on his or her profits. Unfortunately, this is the current focus of sustainability, where we only take as much resources from the nature so that it can regrow itself. And there are 3 more approaches towards sustainability which are much more sustainable than this predatory approach. So one of this is enterprising approach, where we produce the resources for our consumption. So we may plant the trees ourselves. Another one is gregarious. This is we produce the resources for our own consumption, for manufacturing, and for others also. This was the aim of the Communist Manifesto provided by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, which of course has failed, as you all know. There is not a single communist country in the world currently. China is so-called communist, but it does not practice communism. So, and this is the approach that Gandhi wanted. Production only for others, or primarily for others. I'm switching it off, sorry. Yeah. So now this is a study. This is conclusion of a study carried out by All India Khadi and Village Industries Board. I quote from it: civilization will be long-lasting if and only if it points out to man the path of duty. So civilization is usually the term that is referred to by Western world, where the Western world says that growth is civilization. So this is almost a slap on that idea, because here it says that the current civilization does not point out to the man the path of duty. It just points out to the man what he can get more and more through exploitation of resources. Yeah. So till now I was just talking generally what Gandhi used to say, but here I will attempt logically to explain you what is the fundamental problem of large-scale industries. Now, this is one concept which is not understood by people. So I request you to pay attention in this one slide. Usually we all know that people think that Gandhi was opposed to industries and so on. But then what was the reason? What is the reason that large-scale industries are a problem? So let us take the example of Nimbus. Now Nimbus is just plain Nimbu Pani. Suppose it employs 10,000 people for its manufacturing. Now this is assume that the system is in equilibrium, वो बनता है and people drink it. Now add a stimulus to the system. Add 5,000 unemployed people into the system. Now if those 5,000 people in large scale manufacturing, those 5,000 people will go to Nimbus to get the job. Now Nimbus of course won't take this 5,000 people because it is satisfied with 10,000 people. It will refuse them. Because the basic thing that it focuses on is profits. It wants to maximize the profits. Now the difference between large scale manufacturing and distributed manufacturing is, if each one of those 10,000 people manufactured the Nimbu Pani on roadside stalls or inside their homes, then the additional input of 5,000 people would also start doing that, and the profit would be shared between all of them. So distributed manufacturing would have easily assimilated the added population and redistributed the profits. So instead of 10,000 people growing richer and 5,000 dying hungry, we will have 15,000 people going slightly little richer. So this is the fundamental problem of large scale industries, which Gandhi was opposed to. So Gandhi always wanted happy blending of material progress with moral progress. So as I showed in the previous slide, since unlimited industrialization is not right, so mad race for industrialization must cease, and regional self-sufficiency should be encouraged. So whatever is required, wherever is required, should be produced there itself. Now, the way this would help is that people will not have to run to large companies to get the jobs, and people will get jobs wherever they are, because they can simply, each human being will have some requirements, and he can simply start producing as per his requirements and will not have to run to large companies for jobs every time. So, steps towards regional self-sufficiency. Villages of India should become self-contained. Firstly, villages are closer to natural resources and have much more human resource without degrading quality of life. So villages of course are much more closer to natural resources than cities. And the second issue that we have is villages have much more human resource than cities without degrading quality of life. So in case human resource is required in cities, the quality of life is directly degraded. लोग slums में रहना शुरू कर देते हैं क्योंकि cities का living cost of living is very high. So if we start manufacturing in cities, the problem is that the human resource that we will need will have to come and live in the slums because the cost of living is high. If the manufacturing happens in villages, we can have the extra human resource without degrading quality of life because the staying cost is low. So every village should produce all of its necessaries and a little more for the cities too. And so what should be the cities for? Manufacturing shouldn't happen in cities. Cities should only manage the manufacturing that takes place in villages. So white collar offices in cities are fine, where we manage कि कहाँ पर unit लगाना है, कहाँ पर production करना है, कहाँ से लाना है, etc. But main manufacturing should happen in villages. I will again repeat the primary reason is that so that all of you remember it. The primary reason is that when human beings migrate to cities for manufacturing, the quality of life is degraded. They have to live in slums. In villages, that won't happen. Yeah. Now, unlimited industrialization also leads to something called centralization. This is because because if industrialization happens, we get larger and larger factories, larger and larger machines, and that leads to centralized production of things. So this is a problem because centralization cannot be sustained and defended without adequate brute force. Now this is a very important concept which all of us must understand, that एक ही जगह पर अगर manufacturing होती है, that cannot be sustained without brute force. Now I will give you a very small example. Suppose I start manufacturing something today, suppose Nimbu Pani, then it will be very easily copied by people around me and they will start manufacturing it. To stop that, to keep the manufacturing centralized and to keep the profits to myself, I will have to use brute force. Many kinds of brute force can be used. Physically, यहाँ पर locally harass किया जाता है अगर कोई दूसरा आदमी दुकान लगा देता है. Another way is economic brute force. जहाँ पर for example, what Internet Explorer, all of you must be knowing there were two browsers once upon a time, Netscape Navigator and Internet Explorer. सबको पता है? So what Internet Explorer did? It used economic brute force to crush Netscape Navigator. वो कुछ दिन के लिए free कर दिया Internet Explorer. Large corporations can do that, small people cannot do that. So large corporations crush the small businesses in this way. Centralization, to maintain centralization, so that others do not produce it, they use economic brute force. They reduce the cost drastically, bear the losses for some time, and this thing. I mean, yeah. So small laborers and small people get crushed. So Mahatma Gandhi also mentioned it on record that centralization is inconsistent with non-violence. Centralization and non-violence cannot go hand in hand. Now it is surprising that not only Gandhi but a great industrialist named Henry Ford, the founder of the internal combustion engine that we use in cars, said that decentralization is not only reasonable and practicable, but it is becoming absolutely necessary. So decentralized manufacturing is what we need currently. The final, this probably is the final point. I won't bore you for long. Yeah. So 2 points are remaining. Yeah. So one point is that of machines. So now when we say that we do not need large-scale industrialization, it does not at all mean that we do not need machines. This is because Charkha itself is a machine, and we need lots of machines which would make human being more efficient. What we don't need is machines which deprive masses of employment. So there are some kinds of machines which are only made so that बहुत ज़्यादा लोगों का काम थोड़े लोग कर पाए. For example, power loom is one kind of that machine, which should be stopped. Now there are some kinds of machines which make human work more efficient, more artistic, and so on. Those kinds of machines are needed. So machines which help the individual and add to his efficiency should be encouraged. तो 6 घंटा अगर आदमी को काम करने को या 3 घंटा में अगर बना जा रहा है सामान तो वो अच्छा है, लेकिन 6 लोग काम करने को या 1 लोग को करना पड़ रहा है, वो खराब है. Sorry, yeah, I am coming to that. Thank you so much for asking at the right time. So Mahatma Gandhi also said this: my object is not to destroy the machines, but to impose limitations to it. Now we are very fortunate to live in a country where these. One more quote. So Mahatma Gandhi also said that I have no objection if all things required by my country could be produced by 30,000 people instead of 3 crores, but those 3 crores must not be rendered unemployed. That is what Mahatma Gandhi believed. So yeah, this is the last point that I am covering. So we are very fortunate to live in a country where we have these companies like Amul, Lijjat Papad and Mother Dairy, which do exactly the same what you asked from me. वो लोग large scale production करते हैं, बहुत large scale production करते हैं, but everything happens in homes. Amul, for example, and Mother Dairy does not have a cow farm. उनके पास cow farm नहीं है. Ice cream, milk, butter कहाँ से आता है? Each farmer does it in his home and then delivers the milk to Amul factory. Amul factory just packages it and checks the quality and all. So what is most important is mass production can happen even when the production is distributed. So the points so far mentioned do not imply that mass production should be stopped. Mass production should certainly happen, but in a decentralized fashion. एक कंपनी एक जगह पर नहीं होना चाहिए, हर घर में mass production होना चाहिए. That is, mass production should happen in people's own homes and should be free from force attached with large-scale industrial production. Large-scale industrial production में force होता है, brute force, as I explained. छोटे production को बंद करने के लिए. जब छोटा production होगा हर घर में तो brute force will not be attached to it. And as I said, great examples are, for example, Lijjat Papad. We eat Lijjat Papad here in our hostels. Same Lijjat Papad हम लोग, मैं बॉम्बे में रहता हूँ, वहाँ पर भी खाते हैं. How come such a huge network distribution happened? Lijjat Papad is also, you will notice in the packet, it is Mahila Grih Udyog. Grih means homes. मतलब घर में वो लोग पापड़ बनाते हैं, and that papad is delivered throughout India. So these examples are there in India, which are not there in most other countries. We are very fortunate to have them. I will just so this is the last quote. Now this is another person who has lots of industries in England, in Wales area. So the extent of mechanization and size of industrial plant depend upon the relative security and cost of labor and capital. So the security and cost of labor and capital determine how much mechanization we should have and what size we should have of industrial plant. Now under present conditions, he believes that it is more profitable for India to use more labor power and less equipment in manufacturing. So even foreigners believe what Gandhi believed. And this is the paper which I referred to primarily. Now there are lots of other references. Thank you so much.